Welcome to Soaring Sessions. I'm Hawk with Helpful Hawk Healing, where we're freeing human hearts. And today we're discussing that yoga means union. We can all go through a lot of different things. Just touch your heart anytime anything I say resonates with you. Yoga means union, a complete unity of all aspects of, with, for, and as the divine ultimate maker, God, supreme entity, source, the maker of all, great spirit. In Sanskrit, we call the supreme consciousness Parampurusha. And yoga means union. It means to be completely in unity with, as a part of. This is important because this fills our heart with love. This frees our heart. This liberates our heart. And that's part of the reason we're on this planet. It's just strictly to be free, to be liberated, to become who we always have been. We have to realize it. As we do our shadow work and reconcile all the aspects of ourselves into a whole, we come to realize our union with Supreme Consciousness and the illusion that our problems are real situations. Our problems that we have every single day, even those things that we carry with us, they're illusions. They're the same as having a math test. It's just a problem. We're supposed to figure it out. We're the only common denominator in our equation. So what can we do to change our equation? Usually, our answer is always the same, no matter who we're with, no matter who we're around, no matter what's going on. So, what's our choice? Well, we can change us. We are the only part of our equation that we can change. And if we want a different answer, we are the only ones that we can change. We're going to have to change us to do it, or transform, evolve, whatever you wish to call it. We are the ones we have to change. So how can we do that? Well, meditation is a form that we can use for that. Our shadow work is another. In order to overcome narcissistic abuse, there are many different methods. The shadow itself are those unwanted parts of ourselves that limit us, and the parts of ourselves that we don't want. And the reason that we don't want them is because we don't want that experience. We don't want to think of ourselves as the axe murderer or the rapist. We don't want to think of ourselves as Adolf Hitler or Genghis Khan. We don't want to think of ourselves as some back alley thief or thug, or even more, we don't want to think of ourselves as the great singer, the great songwriter. Who are we to be that bold? Who are we to be that beautiful? To be a spiritual leader, to be a thought leader, to be a great writer, or a great mathematician, a great doctor. Who are we to be that wonderful? These are parts of ourselves that we don't want to admit to. We're afraid to admit to. And our shadow works to keep us safe, works to keep us protected. But by doing so, our shadow limits us. What can we do to break away from those limits? When we realize these limits are illusions, we begin to move back into union or yoga. These limits that we put on ourselves, it doesn't make any difference who we are. We limit ourselves. Those little shirts and things like that, no fear. Well, better it should say no limits. Because fear exists, and it should exist. It's there to keep us safe. We can live with fear, or we can live in fear. And most people live in fear. In fact, an inferiority complex, well, that's living in fear. And it's usually covered with a superiority complex. So, what can we do? What possible methods are there out there? Meditation, as I mentioned, is great. There are many different modalities out there, many different types of therapy out there. Some work better than others. Even if we limit ourselves to the physical, mental, emotional form or avatar, it is still important that we accept our totality and live in yoga or union with ourselves. There's 37 to 100 trillion individual us's making up this body that need to live in union with each other. The holistic method of looking at our body. And if we don't live in union with our body, what happens? We get sick. Excuse me just a moment. Now, many in the West believe that yoga is an exercise regimen, and while true flexibility is strength, there's a lot more to it than that. Yoga means union of all, and our flexibility does make us strong. Have you ever noticed how acrobats and gymnasts are incredibly and extremely strong? They're ripped, and they can do many fantastic and wonderful things with their body. Yogis and yoginis can do the same, all kinds of contortions and stuff, but it's not all about making ourselves a pretzel. In fact, making the body be able to do the pretzel things is part of unpretzeling the psyche. Because by moving the body in all those different poses, it allows energy to flow. Much the same as using meditation, which is another limb of the Ashtanga system, where there are 8 limbs. There's Yama, which is the extraversial limb. That's how we interact with the outside world. That's how we interact with others, animals, trees and grass, plants, our cars. Anything outside of our body is extraversial. That's the yamas. The niyamas are anything that's introversial. How we interact with our heart, our brain, our mind, our chakras. Anything that has to do with inside. We already discussed the asanas, or the movements that help the body to keep the energy flowing. One of the main reasons for the asanas is to keep the body strong enough to sit in sadhana, or meditation. Then there's pranayama, which is breath control. And there's a lot of different forms of breath work out there. And there are some very incredible things that can be done just simply by changing the way we breathe. When we're feeling excited to the point where we consider it fear, we can slow our breathing down. And this causes our body to go into homeostasis, and to feel that it is safe. Now, if you're running or jogging or bicycling or something like that, it's going to change. If you're running from a bear or a mountain lion or something like that, your breathing is definitely going to be difficult to control because you're going to be in fear. Excuse me. And also, you're going to be running, which is going to change the way your breathing pattern is. Pratyahara is the withdrawal of the senses. This is important. When we remove all of our senses from our experience and say, okay, I'm not paying attention to those, then our true feelings can emerge, our true self, our true psyche can emerge and to be experienced. And this is important. When we turn off our sight and no longer allow light in through our eyes, light comes in other ways. We're photosynthetic, by the way. As you notice, I've got a bit of a tan. Well, that's because I've been in the sun. And it's very important. We're photosynthetic. Similar to plants, but not exactly the same. Instead of chlorophyll, we make melanin and vitamin D3. Dharana is concentration. This is concentrating on a single point. Many of us are taught to concentrate on a single point right here between the eyes of light. And for those of us who have been through an initiation process, which is actually quite simple, and being given a personal mantra, we concentrate on that and expand that into our whole being energetically and psychically. Dhyana or sadhana is deconcentration or meditation, where we let go to the point where our mind is concentrating on the mantra and then lets go of all of the physicality, and we let go even of the mind in order to move into samadhi or bliss, the complete union, where we hear the universal sound or song. Yoga is a very important aspect of how I treat myself. And how I treat myself and how I treat others is I treat everyone as if they're a part of me. I treat others how I want to be treated until they don't treat me that way. And then I just stop treating them at all. I have compassion for them, but I stop talking with them or communicating with them unless it's absolutely necessary. And this can be a very important aspect when healing from narcissistic abuse, is to only have contact with the other person if you have to have a contact with the other person, such as if there are children involved. If there aren't children involved, go no contact, because that other person is disturbing your psyche, disturbing your heart and your mind, and going to break your ability to be your full self. They're going to want to be filled up from the outside, and since you're outside of them, they want your attention to fill them up. And they don't care whether it's positive or negative. They only care that they're getting attention. That's their fix. Well, one thing about it is, that was our fix when we were codependent with them. We wanted to heal them, but we wanted to heal us too. Well, we have to concentrate on our healing. They have to concentrate on their healing. And if they're not concentrating on their healing, we're not going to be able to fix them. We have to fix us. By doing our shadow work, we move into a state of wholeness that supersedes our limitations. By letting go of all the limits, by accepting every bit of ourselves, realizing that every strand of DNA that has ever existed, does exist now, or will ever exist, has every potential for every human action, thought, or feeling in it, that alleviates a lot of our shadow work right there. That allows us to be able to accept our shadow that much more and to move more into a state of yoga or union with ourselves. Because that particular acceptance, that no matter what, that little tiny strand of DNA, every single one of them, has the potential to make us Princess Diana or Adolf Hitler, depending on how we use our mind and our body. That frees up a lot of room in our mind. That frees up a lot of room in our heart and our psyche. Because no longer are we going to hold back all of those feelings we think we don't want to feel. And we realize it's okay to feel them. It's okay to have those thoughts. It's when we act on them or bring them out that we have the problem. That we become a problem for ourselves and for others. By realizing that we have all of these potentials within us, and it is our choice to step past them. It is our choice to let go of the limits. It is our choice to accept that there are darkness within us, as well as light. And we can express whichever we choose. It's up to us to decide. And that's where free will comes in. And this is one of the few planets in this galaxy, if not the universe, where free will is important. Where free will is even allowed. By repetition of our new beliefs, we override old beliefs. If we remove our old beliefs through shadow work, we then pave the way for our new beliefs that are more empowering. Our new beliefs can be seen as a mantra, which is something that is repeated over and over and over and over and over again, so that it can be realized within us. I am enough. I love myself. I am free and unshakable. In my mornings, I always put that in there. I am enough. I love myself. I am free and unshakable. And I am enough. And I do love myself. And I am free and unshakable. It's hard to pull me out of my center. It's hard to get to me. Now, I'm not saying I don't experience emotions, but it's hard to get me to show them if I don't want you to see them. If I don't want you to see that I am being affected by your actions, you're not going to. If I don't want your actions to bother me, they're not going to. And when you do this with narcissists, you've cut them off from their supply. And now then, the fun really gets interesting. When you walk away, they no longer have supply. What happens to any drug addict? They begin to go through withdrawal. Now they want it back. Now they'll often go into what's called hoovering, or the bait and switch method, or the carrot on a stick method. Oh, I've changed. I've changed. I turned over a new leaf. Did you? Well, 3 months down the road, something's going to come up and you're going to remind me of something that happened when we first met. This should have been forgiven a long time ago. Remember that forgiveness is dropping those sandbags out of that balloon that's rising so that it can continue to rise. Letting go of the weight so that we can soar, which is what these Saturday sessions are all about. Soaring Saturday sessions so that we can go deeper into what I've been teaching through my morning videos and through my weekly, bi-weekly videos, or whatever you call them, 2 videos a week on YouTube. letting go. Letting go. Just as with this piece of paper, letting it go. What's important about that? Because the more you carry with you those old grudges, the heavier your life's going to be. Not only that, but you're looking at the world through a blindfold of wounds and traumas and hates and fears and angers, frustrations, shames, blames, guilts, suffering. And if you let it go, then you can fly to unknown heights. You're limitless, truly limitless, when you let all of it go. And that's part of the reason we're here, is to let all of those things from the past go. Samskara, action committed. Karma, action remitted. Action, reaction. And sometimes this can be a lot heavier than this. That small thing can get to be really heavy when it comes back. Or that small kindness can be magnified 20,000 times. Who knows? I err on the side of kindness whenever possible. Not perfect at it, but I do err on the side of kindness whenever possible. My abuse recovery method is a repetition form that will help to release things, and all from the comfort of your own couch. By removing stuck energies in the nervous system and refilling the space with light. And then you've got the ability to program in a new belief. Every day in every way, I'm getting better, better, and better. I am super intelligent. When you put these beliefs out there and you repeat them so that you convince the mind to look for the reasons or look for the ways to make it possible, then you've opened up a whole new avenue, a whole sky of stars to get to, a whole place you get to enjoy. It's incredible when you live that free. It's incredible when you let go of all those beliefs, those little things that are stuck here and there within the psyche, within the nervous system itself, and let that energy flow. Because where attention goes, energy flows. Well, if your attention subconsciously is always over here, where mom smacked me when I was a kid and called me a dummy, you're always going to believe you're a dummy until you let it go. Either that or there's going to be an open, festering wound there that you're going to want everybody else to heal. And will they do it? Can they do it? No. They might be able to teach you methods that can help you do it. But they certainly can't do it for you. And while talk therapy is great for learning strategies and discussing the problem, it doesn't get to the root of the problem. It doesn't get down below the problem. It doesn't alleviate anything but the symptoms, which is what addiction does. Why not just go to a 12-step program instead? If all you want to do is talk about it, I say be about it. Here on YouTube, My Abuse Recovery Method, the introductory module is free. And I call this practice metanosis because it works in the theta brainwave state, which is the same state as a very deep meditation. This is also happens to be the same state that we're in till about the age of 8, where we're absorbing every single thing. So during this particular state of mind, not only can we let go of limiting beliefs, but we can put in new unlimiting beliefs, and new loving beliefs and caring beliefs, new empowering beliefs, and get them to stick that much better. It's an incredible way to live when you let go of the old wounds. I don't miss drinking alcohol. I don't miss smoking marijuana. I don't miss partying all the time. I don't miss strippers. I don't miss all these different things that I used to do. I don't miss the movies about war. I don't miss the arguments. I don't miss, manipulating others. The only thing I miss about the old me is the curiosity of how am I going to get through the day. But now that I have meditation, now that I have my metanosis, and I use some form of this abuse recovery method every day, now I know how I'm getting through my day. I love myself. I am enough. I am free and unshakable. And while ego still wants to get stuck up in the stuff, I look at ego and I say, I love you. As Wayne Dyer would say, ego is edging God out. Well, I let God in. As Jesus would say, seek ye first the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is within you. He said those words. It's right here. You see, prayer is talking to God. Meditation is listening to God. That still small voice, our intuition, comes from right here and right here. It's when these are in complete union or yoga that we are able to actually live an unfettered life, unchained. Using ancient and modern techniques, I came up with the abuse recovery method in order to free us of those heavy emotional chains of our traumatic and abusive past, the limiting beliefs that come along with them. And when I release the full program, I will definitely let everybody know. I will make it so that as many people as can find it will be able to find it. I haven't completed it yet. I took a break from constantly pushing myself to achieve. I said, okay, why don't I take a step back, rest a bit, instead of pushing myself for perfection, take a step back and allow my mind and heart to work on some things, get my life back in order, get some bills paid, and then go back, review things, reshoot things, and release the program. And I will be releasing the program very soon. I have set a limit for the 21st of October, 2024. Well, I'm going to achieve it. Oh, apologize. Repeat many times daily. I am enough. I love myself. I am free and unshakable. And your mind has no choice but to finally fill in the gaps and make these things happen. It brings you into the state of being, no matter what. It has no choice. It's got to make the words after I am truth. Now, there are certain things that you're not going to be able to am, of course. There are certain things you're not going to be able to am. I am my own solar system. Well, you can realize the consciousness of a solar system in certain ways, but you're not going to turn your body into a solar system. You might turn your delusion into a solar system. But anything as far as what you want humanly, you can am. I am, and after that is pure creation. I am enough. I love myself. I am free, and I am unshakable. And as Emil Coué taught us, every day in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Every day in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. It's important that if we don't live in yoga with the divine, that we at least live in yoga with ourselves. That we at least live in our own union with our own self, with our own humanity, and preferably with all of humanity and all of existence. This is Hawk from Helpful Hawk Healing, where we're freeing human hearts. Thank you for joining me today and anytime. For now, I say, I love you and namaskar.